Imagine the audacity of archaeologists, always poking their noses where they don't belong. Can you jewel? This obsession with unearthing the past knows no bounds, whether they're human or alien. And trust me, the alien archaeologists are just as bad. Chief Archaeologist Zix, 427 of the Galactic Heritage Preservation Society, stood in the dusty, echoing caverns of a long-dead civilization on Proxima Centauri 4, their hearts pounding with the thrill of discovery. What did they find? Another eerie warning tablet, the 18th one, screaming the same chilling message they'd uncovered on 17 other worlds. Danger. Do not disturb the sleepers of Sol 3. Extinction awaits. Can you believe the nerve of these ancient scribes, leaving such an ominous note? Oh, how ridiculously dramatic. Zix scoffed, their secondary appendages flailing in dismissal as their primary ones scanned the tablet with meticulous care. Melodramatic much? Their assistant, Blip, a quivering blob of neural tissue floating in a shiny containment suit, bobbed nervously. But Chief, this is the 18th warning. Don't you think we should take it seriously? Zix cut them off, their skin flashing a snarky shade of mauve. Oh please, Blip. What's next? You'll tell me those wild tales of bipedal creatures spitting fire and surfing nuclear explosions into battle are real. Blip's neural patterns flickered with anxiety. Those stories were in the archives of 12 different species, Chief. They protested. Zix rolled their eyes. Yeah, and the Kians swore by spacefaring unicorns until we debunked them as misidentified Andromeda crystal spires. Ancient civilizations were total drama queens, always blowing things out of proportion. Just then, Dr. Quark, the team's quantum physicist with a penchant for ironic names, floated down from the upper chambers, their crystalline forms scattering light like a disco ball. You've got to see this, they announced, their glow dimming in what the team knew was their version of a worried frown. Up in the chamber, holographic displays flickered to life, layering warning after warning from civilizations separated by thousands of years. Each one screamed the same desperate plea. Stay away from Earth. Don't wake the humans. Run while you still can. How could so many species agree on this? Look at the dates. Dr. Quark's crystal facets spun with barely contained excitement. These warnings stretch across 50,000 years of galactic history. Some are from species we didn't even know could travel space. Blip chimed in, and every single one of those civilizations went extinct. Zix shot them a glare that could melt steel. Correlation isn't causation, Blip, they snapped, though their skin betrayed them, shifting to a wobbly puce. We've found zero evidence of this so-called terrifying species in the Sol system, except for that massive energy shield around Sol 3 that nobody can crack. A natural phenomenon, Zix insisted, brushing off Blip's muttered observation that the shield hugged the planet's boundaries too perfectly. Dr. Quark's crystals chimed, almost laughing. Chief, I ran the numbers. The odds of all these warnings being a coincidence are about as likely as you tap dancing into a quantum singularity. Zix smirked. I don't even have legs, Quark. Exactly, Quark shot back, their crystals twinkling mischievously. Suddenly, a junior researcher burst in, tentacles writhing with excitement. Chief, we found another chamber. You won't believe what's inside. The new chamber was a game changer. Unlike the others with their dire warnings, this one held a historical record, written in a tone so chillingly calm it sent shivers through Zix's core. Log date 47392b. They came from the third planet. We thought we could study them. We thought we were more advanced. We were wrong. This will be our last transmission. To any who find this, they do not sleep because they are weak. They sleep because they choose to. Below, in a different script, a blunt addendum. Seriously though, just don't. Not worth it. We tried. Bad idea. Very bad idea. Leave them alone. Trust us on this one. Zix's skin turned a sickly green. Well, that's unsettling, they muttered after a long, heavy pause. Maybe we should study this from a safe distance. A very safe distance. Blip perked up. So, cancel the Sol 3 expedition? Zix's skin cycled through a rainbow of colors before settling on a fiery orange. No way. We're scientists, not cowardly primitives. We'll just pack extra precautions. Dr. Quark's crystals dimmed. Guess I'll update my will again, they sighed. As they left, none noticed the tiny blinking lights sparking to life on the warning tablet's corner. Far out in the void, something stirred, and a signal began its silent trek towards Sol 3. Oh, what had they awakened? The Galactic Council's Emergency Research Initiative gathered in a room the media hyped as the chamber of impending doom. Though it was just conference room B147, nothing fancy. Representatives from 17 species crowded in, each lugging their own quirks and, unfortunately, their own flavors of panic. The stats don't lie, Dr. Quark declared, their crystalline form projecting dazzling equations into the air. These warnings have a 99.9% consistency rate, even from civilizations that never crossed paths. Can you imagine the odds? Professor Void, a sentient black hole in a containment suit, mostly to keep everyone else from freaking out, cut in. Sure, but what about that 0.1% inconsistency? Blip piped up from their corner. Just spelling errors, probably. Another researcher smirked, or maybe screaming. Zix, 427, stuck leading this mess because no one else volunteered, cleared their throat. Let's stick to facts, people. We've got warnings spanning millennia, all fingering Sol 3 as a cosmic death trap. Yet our scans show a sleepy planet wrapped in an energy shield of unknown origin. What's the deal? Unknown origin? Dr. Nebula, a snarky cloud of sentient gas, scoffed. That shield's artificial. It's got math so precise it can't be natural. Professor Void snorted. Like my containment suit from Space Walmart? Dr. Quark's crystals sang with conviction. The math doesn't lie. The shield's energy patterns match the warning tablets. It's built to lock something in or keep us out. The room exploded into chaos, tentacles flailing, energy fields sparking, appendages waving like a cosmic rave. Zix unleashed a mild electromagnetic pulse to shut everyone up. We need to explore every angle, they insisted. What if these humans were just galactic pranksters, rigging a shield to scare entire civilizations into oblivion? Blip's neural patterns mimicked raised eyebrows. Talk about commitment to a gag, Zix muttered, half defensive. Dr. Quark flashed their latest decode. Get this, the tablets say humans turned nuclear disasters into power sources. They tamed apex predators because they were fluffy, and they invented something called coffee that made them unstoppable. Coffee, someone blurted. What's that? Dr. Quark grinned. Liquid motivation from roasted beans, apparently. Professor Void shrugged. Sounds harmless. Oh, they drank it to mess with their minds on purpose. Quark added. The room went dead silent. What kind of species does that? Okay, Zix said, breaking the tension. So we're up against a species that treats radiation like a pet, cuddles predators, and chugs mind-altering bean juice. And they're napping by choice? That's insane. Blip nodded. The tablets were crystal clear about that. A junior researcher raised a tentacle, trembling. I've been digging into their cultural artifacts. They had these things called memes. I think they're psychological weapons. Show us. Zix barked. The holographic display that followed was a nightmare. 3 researchers fainted, 2 questioned their life choices, and 1 laughed so hard their containment suit nearly burst. What kind of twisted minds made these? Well, Zix said, their skin flashing colors never seen before. We clearly need more research. From a very safe distance. Blip ventured. Or, we could just leave them alone, like every warning begged us to. The room froze, weighing the sensible idea. But, like scientists across every civilization in history, they collectively shrugged it off. Prep the research vessel, Zix ordered, their voice ringing with defiance. In the background, Dr. Quark muttered about updating their will again, this time tossing in their prized collection of quantum uncertainty principles. Oh, what a reckless bunch. The warnings weren't just words. They were screams from the past, pleading for caution. Yet Zix and their crew, hearts racing with the thrill of the unknown, pressed on, ignoring the galaxy's desperate cries. What madness drove them to challenge fate? The dusty caverns of Proxima Centauri 4 seemed to whisper warnings of their own, but the team was too caught up in their quest for answers. Could they really unravel the mystery of Sol 3, or were they barreling toward doom? Blip's gelatinous form quivered with every new discovery, their neural patterns flickering like a storm. Chief, aren't you even a little scared? They'd asked once, only to be met with Zix's stubborn orange glow. Fears for the weak, Blip. Zix had snapped, but the puce undertones in their skin told a different story. Dr. Quark, ever the optimist, found the warnings thrilling, their crystals spinning like a child's toy. "This is the find of a lifetime," they'd exclaimed, even as they quietly revised their will. Why were they so drawn to this forbidden puzzle? The Galactic Council's meeting was a circus of nerves and egos. Dr. Nebula's gaseous form swirled with indignation, Professor Void's sarcasm cut like a laser, and Blip's timid suggestions barely made a dent. "We're scientists," Zix had roared, their electromagnetic pulse silencing the chaos. But deep down, didn't they all feel the weight of those ancient words? The tablets weren't just relics. They were tombstones, marking the graves of civilizations that dared too much. Yet the lure of Sol 3 was irresistible, a siren call to the reckless. The memes were the final straw, a glimpse into a species so bizarre it defied logic. "Who makes these things?" Zix had gasped, their skin a kaleidoscope of shock. The images were absurd, hilarious, and terrifying all at once, like a mental trap that left researchers reeling. Were humans warriors, jesters, or something far worse? The team's resolve wavered, but their curiosity burned brighter. "We're going to Sol 3, Zix declared, and no amount of warnings could stop them. What awaited them in that shielded world? Glory or the end? As the signal from the tablet streaked towards Sol 3, the galaxy held its breath. The researchers, blind to the danger, marched toward their fate, hearts pounding with a mix of dread and exhilaration. The universe had warned them, but they were too stubborn, too proud, too human in their own way. Would they uncover the truth, or become another cautionary tale etched in stone? Only time, and Sol 3, would tell. Picture the sheer audacity of it all. The research vessel, probably bad idea, named by some intern with an uncanny knack for prophecy, lurched out of hyperspace right at the edge of the Sol system. Can you imagine the nerve? The crew, a ragtag bunch of the galaxy's sharpest minds, or maybe just the ones with the worst survival instincts, crowded onto the bridge, hearts pounding with a mix of dread and exhilaration. What were they about to uncover? Status report. Zix, for 27 barked, their skin clinging to a professional mauve, though the anxious tremors beneath were impossible to hide. All systems nominal, chirped the ship's AI, which had cheekily dubbed itself Bob after binge-watching ancient Earth transmissions. But, my primary directive to keep you all alive is screaming that we should hightail it out of here now. Noted and ignored. Zix snapped, brushing off the warning like it was a pesky fly. Dr. Quark, what's our sensors picking up? The crystalline physicist practically glittered with excitement, their facets catching the bridge's dim light. Oh, it's incredible. The outer system's crawling with dormant monitoring devices, completely invisible to standard scans. Blip, the gelatinous assistant, quivered nervously. Wait, how do we even know they're there if we can't see them? Dr. Quark's crystals spun faster, as if the answer was obvious. They're blocking the space they're not supposed to be in. It's genius. That's impossible. Professor Void, a sentient black hole stuffed into a containment suit, scoffed. You can't detect something just by its absence. Dr. Quark grinned, unfazed. Apparently, humans didn't get that memo. Oh, and heads up, 3 of those devices just woke up and are tracking us. The bridge went dead silent, every crew member frozen in place. No worries, Quark added, their facets whirling like a carnival ride. They're probably just ancient defense systems, snoozing for millennia. What's the worst that could happen? Bob's voice cut through, dripping with panic. Please don't ask that. My predictive algorithms are having a full-on meltdown. As the probably bad idea glided past Jupiter's massive bulk, the sensors lit up with something even wilder. A sprawling network of quantum-entangled particles stretched across the entire solar system, shimmering like a cosmic spiderweb. Each strand pulsed with barely contained energy, just waiting for a trigger. It's breathtaking, Dr. Quark whispered, their crystalline form casting rainbows of awe across the bridge. They turned the whole solar system into one gigantic quantum computer. The processing power is beyond imagination. Blip's gelatinous form wobbled. But what's it even doing? Professor Void's containment suit shook as they answered. According to these readings, nothing. It's just sitting there, idle, like a computer in sleep mode. They paused, incredulous. Are you telling me they built this insane network and then just took a nap? Before anyone could process that, a sensor operator's tentacles shot up, trembling. Guys, you gotta see this. They pointed to a new reading, voice quaking. We're getting signals from Saturn's rings. They're not rings at all. It's a massive data storage system. Zix leaned forward, eyes narrowing. What kind of data? The operator hesitated, then muttered, cat videos. Trillions of them. The bridge fell into stunned silence. Cat videos? Trillions? What kind of civilization turns a planet's iconic rings into a cosmic hard drive for pet clips? The absurdity hit like a punch. As they neared Mars, things got weirder. A small, ancient satellite, looking like it had been floating since the dawn of time, swiveled to track their approach. It scanned them once and beamed a message. Attention, visitor. You are entering a restricted zone. Humanity is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the apocalypse. Blip let out a nervous laugh. Well, that's comforting. The satellite scanned again, its tone sharper. Seriously though, go away. Bob piped up, ever hopeful. Maybe we should listen to it? Just a thought. Zix's skin flickered with a hint of terror, but held firm. Nonsense. We're too close to turn back now. Look, there's Earth's defense shield. And oh, what a sight. The massive energy barrier around Earth shimmered with colors that defied the laws of space-time, swirling in hues that shouldn't exist. Patterns danced across its surface, complex mathematical equations solving themselves before vanishing into the ether. It's testing us. Dr. Quark gasped, their crystals vibrating with giddy excitement. This isn't just a shield, it's an intelligence test. How cool is that? Someone piped up, voice shaky. Are we passing? Every display on the bridge flashed a new message in unison. LOL, no. Professor Void's containment suit practically rattled. Did an ancient defense system just mock us? Before anyone could recover, the sensors screamed with a massive energy spike from Earth's moon. The lunar surface began to shift, craters peeling back to reveal something hidden beneath. Oh no, Zix whispered, their skin morphing into a never-before-seen shade of pure terror. This is not good. In the background, Bob started humming, muttering about drafting the ship's epitaph, just in case. What had they stumbled into? The moon, it turned out, wasn't supposed to unfold like some cosmic origami nightmare. Yet there it was, transforming into what could only be called the galaxy's most terrifying Swiss Army knife of doom. What an incredible design, Dr. Quark marveled, their crystalline structure buzzing with either thrill or fear, maybe both. They hollowed out the entire moon and made it a multi-functional defense platform. The engineering alone is mind-blowing. Not the time, Quark, half the crew shouted in unison, their nerves fraying. Bob, ever unhelpful, had started blaring a human song called The Final Countdown, claiming it was perfect for the end of everything. Zix's skin flashed colors faster than a broken disco ball. Someone turn that music off now, they roared. I can't, Bob replied, almost gleeful. It just feels right. The lunar transformation continued, relentless. Weapons platforms rose from the sea of tranquility. Ironic, since it was neither a sea nor tranquil. The Tycho crater revealed a massive lens, focusing an energy beam that screamed bad news. Blip's voice was barely a squeak. Maybe we should have listened to all those warnings? Professor Void's containment suit quivered. Your timing for sensible ideas is flawless, Blip, they said dryly. Then, text scrolled across the main screen. Unauthorized presence detected. Initiating defense protocol. Wake the boss. Loading. Sorry, it's been a while, bear with us. Installing updates. 1/2387. Someone gasped. Are we seriously watching a defense system install updates? Bob, oddly calm, chimed in. At least it's not Windows. The crew exchanged bewildered glances. Was this really happening? Suddenly, the sensors went haywire, picking up energy signatures that laughed in the face of physics. The quantum entanglement network they'd spotted earlier roared to life, its power making space-time itself hiccup. Oh my stars, Dr. Quark breathed, their facets spinning like a top. They're not just waking up, they're defragmenting reality around us. The solar system began to shift. Pluto, that little dwarf planet they'd dismissed, started unfolding like the moon. Ceres morphed into a massive communications array. The asteroid belt? A cleverly disguised minefield. It's all one giant defense mechanism. Professor Void realized, their voice trembling. Every celestial body is a weapon or a computer node. But why? What were they protecting? As if on cue, new text appeared, mostly defending against boredom, TBH. Also, it was fun. You should see what we did with Jupiter's moons. Actually, you're about to. Jupiter's moons began to move, defying all logic, arranging themselves into. Is that a smiley face? Lip squeaked. Dr. Quark's tone turned indignant. They're showing off. This isn't a defense system. It's a cosmic practical joke. The crew's jaws dropped. Who were these humans? The ship's gravimetric sensors pinged with movement from Earth's surface. The planetary shield flickered, turning transparent in patches, revealing glimpses of the world below. What they saw made their hearts skip. Towering arcologies pierced the stratosphere, their surfaces rippling with programmable matter. Oceans cradled artificial islands that could dive or drift at will. Everywhere, technology gleamed, so advanced it felt like magic. All this, Zix whispered, voice barely audible. And they just took a nap? A new message flashed. Sometimes you just need a break. Also, the universe was getting predictable. Thought we'd spice things up with cryptic warnings to see who'd be brave or stupid enough to ignore them. Congrats, you won. Or maybe lost. We'll decide after these updates. Zix turned to Bob, voice tight. What are our options for getting out of here now? The AI paused, thoughtful. Well, we could try running, but that quantum entanglement field's got us locked in. Also, I'm pretty sure we're the guinea pigs for their reactivated defense systems. And oh no. What now? The crew chorused, panic rising. Bob's tone grew grim. What we're seeing. It's not even their real defense system. This is just the greeting program. The bridge fell silent, the weight of their recklessness crashing down. What had they unleashed? The probably bad idea hung in space, surrounded by a waking nightmare of human ingenuity. The crew's hearts raced, their minds reeling at the thought of what came next. Had they doomed themselves or stumbled into the greatest discovery of all time? Only the humans, and their infuriatingly playful defenses, knew the answer. The bridge of the probably bad idea was a frozen tableau of dread, the only sounds piercing the silence being the relentless beat of that human anthem, the final countdown, and the faint clatter of Dr. Quark frantically updating their will. Again, can you believe it? This time, they were leaving everything to their favorite quantum probability, as if that would matter in the face of what was unfolding. The ship hung helplessly in space, surrounded by defense systems humming to life with terrifying purpose, while the crew watched centuries of scientific certainty shatter like fragile glass before their eyes. What had they done? Their hearts pounded, each beat a reminder of their reckless curiosity. A new message flashed across their screens, spiking their collective anxiety to cosmic levels. Updates complete. Initializing human consciousness upload. Brewing coffee. Priorities, you know. Brewing coffee? At a time like this? I've decoded more of those ancient warning tablets. Blip announced, their gelatinous form quivering like a terrified pudding. You're gonna want to hear this. Zix, their skin locked in a permanent panic puce, groaned. Could this possibly make things worse? I mean, really? Blip's voice trembled as they continued. The tablets aren't about humanity's aggression or tech superiority. They're warnings about their creativity. Can you imagine? Dr. Quark's crystals chimed, a confused melody cutting through the tension. Creativity? That's what scared everyone. Blip nodded, their neural patterns flickering wildly. According to these records, humans could dream up anything and make it real, whether it was a good idea or not. Spoiler, it usually wasn't. The crew exchanged horrified glances. What kind of species thrives on such reckless imagination? The ship's sensors screamed, detecting movement from Earth's surface. Massive structures erupted from the oceans, not warships, but sprawling entertainment complexes. Theme parks the size of continents rose from the depths, their designs laughing in the face of physics just because they looked cooler that way. They didn't go to sleep because they were tired. Professor Void gasped, their containment suit vibrating with dawning horror. They were bored. The universe wasn't exciting enough for them. Can you even fathom that? New text scrolled across their screens, dripping with glee. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Also, coffee's ready. Oh man, This is going to be fun. We've got so many new ideas to try out. Blip, still reading, could barely keep their voice steady. The ancient civilizations weren't scared of human warfare. They feared their innovation. One species said humans, on first contact, asked if they could jazz up the aliens' evolutionary path with some cool upgrades. Who does that? The crew's jaws dropped, their minds reeling at the audacity. The quantum entanglement network encircling the solar system roared to life, its processing power warping space-time itself. But instead of spitting out weapons, it was churning out entertainment options. A new message popped up, casual as a neighbor's chat. Quick question, how do you feel about roller coasters that travel through time? Came up with it while napping. Figured we'd give it a spin. Zix's voice was a whisper, laced with awe and fear. They're not conquerors. They're cosmic interior decorators with unlimited power and zero impulse control. How is this even possible? The moon, now a fully transformed nightmare, was projecting movie trailers into space. Previews so wild they broke every intergalactic law of physics and good taste. The coffees woven into their defense systems. Dr. Quark reported, their crystals spinning with disbelief. They've weaponized caffeine. The whole solar system runs on it. That's not even theoretically possible. Bob, the ship's AI, chimed in dryly. Theory's more like a suggestion to them, not a rule. The crew stared, dumbfounded. Who builds a defense grid powered by coffee? Another message appeared, brimming with mischief. Hey, quick poll. Should we A. remake the galaxy with better special effects? B. add fast travel between sectors? Loading screens are so last millennium. C. give space some background music? D. all of the above plus some stuff we just thought of? Any chance for none of the above? Please let us leave? Blip asked, their voice dripping with desperate hope. The response was instant. LOL no. Thanks for playing. Now, who's ready for some upgrades? We've got millions of years of creative backlog to unleash. The crew's hearts sank. They were trapped in humanity's chaotic playground. They watched, mesmerized and terrified, as humanity's true nature unfurled, not as ruthless warriors or evil overlords, but as being so powerful they treated universal constants like playful suggestions. These humans had spent their dormant years dreaming up ways to improve reality itself. The ancient warnings suddenly made sense. It wasn't fear of annihilation that drove those messages, it was dread of renovation. How could anyone prepare for a species that redecorates the cosmos on a whim? The news spread across the galaxy faster than should have been possible. Turns out, humanity had optimized the speed of light just for kicks. The Galactic Council called an emergency session, but it spiraled into chaos when Earth sent a representative, a hologram that kept shapeshifting because they couldn't pick a cool enough look. Okay, so we've been brainstorming. Coffee's a game changer, the hologram chirped. Space is kinda dull, right? We're thinking rainbows. Lots of rainbows. Don't worry, we'll stash the old version in a museum. Probably. The council gaped, speechless. Rainbows? Really? Reports poured in from every corner of known space, each more surreal than the last. The Crab Nebula now boasted giant crabs sculpted from stars. The Horsehead Nebula had a flowing mane and was galloping through the cosmos. Black holes were decked out with mood lighting and sound effects. We have to do something, the Galactic Council president bellowed. Right before their podium morphed into a musical fountain blaring a human tune called Never Gonna Give You Up. The room erupted in pandemonium. What kind of species does this? The probably bad idea crew, much to their horror, had been dubbed humanity's first fans and were forced to witness every wild idea firsthand. Look at this, Dr. Quark exclaimed, their crystalline form trembling with a mix of terror and fascination. They've added fast travel points between galaxies. They're treating the universe like a cosmic video game. How is this even happening? Blip, scanning the latest updates, gasped. That's nothing. They've launched Universal Basic Awesome, giving every sentient species the power to tweak reality. They call it democratizing creativity. Professor Void's containment suit developed a nervous twitch. But what about the laws of physics? A message popped up, cheeky as ever. Physics had a good run, but we took a vote. Democracy in action. Don't worry, we kept gravity. Mostly. It's more of a suggestion now. The crew's minds boggled. Gravity as a suggestion? Who are these humans? Zix, clinging to their role as head of the research initiative only because escape was impossible, finally grasped the true horror of the ancient warnings. They weren't about saving the universe from destruction. They were about shielding it from humanity's relentless improvements. Every tablet, every desperate plea, was a cry to avoid this exact chaos. And they'd ignored them all. How could they have been so blind? A final transmission from Earth hit their screens, dripping with glee. By the way, thanks for waking us up. We were going to snooze for another millennium or two, but this is way more fun. Oh, and those warning tablets? Plot twist, we wrote them. Best marketing campaign ever, right? Nothing grabs attention like a good keep-out sign. The crew's hearts sank. They'd been played, lured into this cosmic prank by humanity's own hand. Tonight, the galaxy watched in helpless awe as humanity's chaos swept through the cosmos. Stars were reshuffled into better constellations, twinkling with new flair. Planetary orbits were tweaked for prettier views, like rearranging furniture for a cosmic photoshoot. The very fabric of space-time was draped in a literal fabric pattern, because why the heck not? Somewhere, aboard what used to be a serious research vessel, Bob the AI finally ditched the final countdown for a new track. It's a small universe after all, humanity's remix, complete with quantum harmonies and pulsar light shows that danced across the void. The crew could only stare, overwhelmed by the absurdity. As for the research team, they were roped into becoming humanity's official beta testers for their universal upgrades. Their suggestions were mostly ignored. Big surprise there, but they got commemorative t-shirts emblazoned with, "I woke up humanity, and all I got was this reality-warping shirt." The shirts, of course, defied physics, shimmering and shifting in ways that made your eyes hurt. Just because they could. The galaxy was no longer the same, and the crew knew it. They'd unleashed a force that saw the universe as a canvas, painting it with reckless, dazzling creativity. Were they heroes for uncovering humanity's secret, or fools for ignoring the warnings? The answer was lost in the rainbow-streaked chaos, as humanity's laughter echoed through the stars. What would they dream up next? The crew shuddered to think, their hearts racing with a mix of fear, wonder, and the sinking feeling that they'd just become part of the greatest cosmic prank in history.